Good morning, all of you. Let us start the class. Your friends may come and join. Let me start the class. So far, we have discussed the economic stability and economic growth. In the last class, we analyzed the difference between microeconomics and macroeconomics. In this class, we are going to discuss about role of market in macroeconomics. This is a very most important topic. Why? Because based on this only, the rest of the three units will be analyzed. After this session, one can able to answer these questions. So our discussion is based on these 10 questions only. What is a market? Not in normal sense, it in economic sense. Then what are the essentials of economic market, and what are the conditions for widening the market? Of course, it's a very important one is functions of market. What is the role of market in economy? Then how the market is gaining its importance in macroeconomics. Do you think whether the market is a backbone of macroeconomics? And one more question we can answer, whether market is static or dynamic. Then how to prove the market are important in a current context. That is, now we are in pandemic. How the market gains its importance, we'll have a live example. Finally, we complete with the scope of market in macroeconomics. So after this session, you can able to answer these questions. Let's start with the definition. Most of us know market means it is a place where the buyers and sellers meet and they will transact. In Chennai, we have Coimbatore market. In Calcutta, we have Ardhan market, like Paligi Bazaar in New Delhi. Like that, we are mentioning a particular place. This is layman definition. But it is very different in economic sense. In economics, the term market does not mean a particular place. Rather, it refers a particular commodity which brought and sold. For example, fish market, rice market, gold market, like that. So the main difference between layman definition and economist definition is, a layman will bother about the place where the goods are transacted. There the buyers and seller will meet. But in economic sense, we are giving priority not to the place but the product. Of course, this particular commodity and service also the buyer has to meet. They will be having some competition between the manufacturer, between the distributors, between the consumer. There will be a competition. So based on this competition only, the market structure will be. So the market consists of a group of buyers and sellers. They will have a close contact with each other and exchange the product with each other. So the definition is, market is based on not the place but on product. That is called economic market. Now let's move to the next level, that is, people always restrict the market with a locality, but the economics give wider expansion. The locality may differ from local market, country level market, or international market. So the commodity is brought anywhere and it has been transacted between buyers and sellers. But most of the time, the local market found in the local place. All perishable products have the local market only because of that perishability. It is very difficult to transport. Maximum lifetime of a vegetable is 1 or 2 days only. So market for a milk, egg or vegetables, definitely it will be a local market only. Suppose the type of product is changing, suppose a gold or a cloth, then there is no need that it should be in local market. It may be in a national level market or international level market because the durability. So once we understand the difference between these two, then it is easy to mention what are the essentials for economic market. There are 4 things you should keep in mind. One is The market is discussing with a particular product or a factor. Product means what type of product. It may be capital good, it may be consumer good, it may be perishable, it may be durable. Whichever product it is, we have to mention about the product, or we should mention about at least the factor of which we are discussing with that. The second one is, as usual, we should tell about buyers and sellers, how they are having a contract. Definitely, the third factor is more important. There is a competition between the manufacturers and distributors and consumers with one another. The last factor is there should be an exchange of goods and services should take place. I will repeat again. There are four elements is essential for economic market. One is what type of commodity or factor is taken into consideration. Second one, number of buyers and sellers. And third one, the competition between the producers and the consumers with one another. The last one is there should be exchange of goods and services. Let's move to the next stage. Now we are talking about the condition to widen the market. The market may be of different size. It may be small, it may be medium, or it may be large size. But which decides the size of the market? The type of product decides. Suppose if you consider a market for a fish or a milk or any other perishable vegetable fruits, definitely it will be small and narrow as it covers a very small area. The market of goods of cement, automobile, gold, all these things, it have durability. Definitely the size of the market will be very wide. It is not only with the local market, it will be for state level, national level or international level because all people prefer that. In modern times, we have the provision for refrigeration. Based on that, some commodities may be having a wider market because the potato, fruits and other meat will be in cold storage and they have widened the market. It is to some extent only. It is not having better scope. Why? Because the perishable always should be fresh, then only people will demand that. Failing which, the market will not survive. So, which decides the size of the market? So, these are the list of factors decides the size of the market. The very first one about the demand and supply of the product. Who will demand? The buyers and seller has to decide what to do, what not to do. The second factor is the durability of the product. That durability is decide the size of the market. The third best factor is how portable the product is. Then the fourth one is recognition. That means cognizability. How many people are ready to accept that product. The fourth one is the suitability for grading or sampling. Any other factor which influence the size of the market will be discussed in the last one, other factors. We will discuss one by one. The first one is extensive demand and supply. That is many buyers and sellers. Just consider, suppose a particular product demand by more people, then the size of the market is automatically it will be big. Why it is big? Because there is a heavy demand. The market for the wheat is very wide compared to any other product like wool. Why? Because the wool is not preferred by the warm countries like India, Pakistan, all these things. But in Europe, because they are cold countries, definitely they will prefer that. So wheat is common for the world, but wool is common for the cold countries. So the size of the market depends upon the type of product. So the demand is very wide for certain products. Those products have a very big market. Based on the demand, there should be equalization of supply. Production will be there. So the supply will also be deciding the size of the market. This is a very first factor decides the size of the market. The next factor is about the durability of the product. There are certain products which cannot have a big market. Example, perishable like vegetables and fruits. Why? It is difficult to transport. The lifetime of the perishable is very less. So we should create only the local market, because when you try to transport maximum 50 to 60 kilometers you can transport, but more than that the product will not be in a good condition. So the durability of the product decides the size of the market. If the product is durable, there is a possibility to have a very wide market, because it is possible to send in a different place, and a wide market is quite possible. For example, electrical goods, watches and other things which are durable, they will have a very wide market rather than a vegetable market or a fruit market. The third best factor is portability. Suppose the product has a character of transferability from one place to another, then definitely it will have a wide market. Why? Because it is very difficult for people to transport the perishable product within a given time. But when it has a portability, it is easy to. But there are some exceptions. Suppose it is in huge volume, then it's very difficult. For example, if you want to supply the bricks, the maximum will be some distance only, because the bricks will occupy more space to transport, and the transportation cost will be more because the price of the brick is very less. So even that portability is very much needed while considering the durability. The brick may be a durable one, but the cost of brick and the transportation cost decides it is better to have a local market. The fourth factor is cognizability. In literal sense, we have about recognition. That is, there are certain goods which have a trademark, a patent, or any other sampling we can able to give. That recognition decides the size of the market. There are certain products we cannot give recognition. For example, a sample may be taken and we can check and we can give the order, but there are some products which cannot be recognized. Or let me say Kanjipuram silk, because the Kanjipuram silk is recognized, they have the pattern, and those goods can be tested and you can order and you can get the supply from anywhere in this country. So the grading or branding definitely will increase the size of the market. And the fifth factor is the suitability of grading. All the product cannot be graded. There are some product which can be graded, and you can receive a sample and you can decide your demand. For example, just now I tell Kanjipuram silk or Banaras silk or Mysore silk. You can test the silk and you can say, I will accept this product. You can produce this design and you can order. It's a tailor made. But there are some goods like a cattle or horse, or purchasing a second-hand car. Unless and otherwise, you have to check the quality of the product. சந்தையிலெல்லாம் மாடு வாங்க போக நீங்க பாத்துருப்பீங்களா தெரியல, நீங்களா சின்னவங்க சந்தையில பார்த்தது இல்ல. மாடை வாங்கறதுக்கு முன்னாடி மாடோட பல்ல பிடிச்சு பார்ப்பாங்க. பல்லு எவ்வளவு இருக்கோ, என்ன குவாலிட்டி ஆஃப் பல்லோ அதுக்கேற்ற மாதிரிதான் மாடோட குவாலிட்டி இருக்கும், அதுக்கேற்ற மாதிரிதான் பால் கறக்கும். நல்ல லைஃப் ஸ்பேனோ இல்ல நல்ல பால் கறக்குதுன்றது பல்ல வச்சுதான் சொல்லுவாங்க. சோ என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க, மாடோட பல்ல எண்ணுவாங்க, வரிசையா இருக்கா, என்ன சைஸ்ல இருக்கு, இதெல்லாம் தான் டிசைட் பண்ணும். ஸோ திஸ் இஸ் கால்ட், இட்ஸ் நாட் பாசிபிள் டு without seeing it's on look of the horse or cattle we cannot purchase. We have to check. Even some car, suppose Audi car is they are giving, we will give for 5 lakhs, but unless and otherwise you check the quality of the engine of that particular Audi, you cannot purchase that. So the suitability is very much needed. And finally, there are many other factors which responsible for the size of the market is the country's condition, political condition, business condition, the tax policy that the government follows. All these things will definitely influence the size of the market. With these 6, let's move to the next topic, is what are the functions of market. As far as the functions of market, we have to confine with the 4 P's. What is the role of these 4 P's? If you say, definitely it will give the what are the list of functions the market is contributing to the economy. The 4 P's are the place, the product, the price and promotion. If you explain each, a market means it should have a place, and where it is, that is very much needed for a market. Then what type of product is involved and how it is transacted. So for transaction, it is needed to value the product, so price will be in the scene. Finally, in order to enhance the first three, place, product and price, promotion is very much needed. So we can say in another word, market is a place which connect the manufacturers and distributor. There is a line. There are four elements in the distribution of product or function of product. One is manufacturer, he who produce a product, and it will move to the wholesaler. The wholesaler will supply to the retailer, and retailer will distribute to the final consumer. So there are four stages: manufacturing stage, wholesale market, retail market, and finally the actual market. These markets are vital for completing the list of functions done by the market. Then once again, I am extending the first four in four different ways. This is called role of market in macroeconomics. First, we should keep in mind that market is a place where the buyers and sellers meet together. Suppose it is not present, then we cannot say it is a market. Somehow there should have a contact. So the economy depend on market because the seller and consumer have a close contact. The second one is, it's very much needed about the nature of the product. Nature of the product depend upon the price of the product. Why? Because if the quality of the product is high, definitely the price will be high. If very low product, we have to sell for the lower price. So there is a possibility of fluctuation in the market. So in this particular point, I want to mention one particular thing. There are certain economic situations where the market cannot survive. People who are speculating will purchase the product when the prices are very low, and they will sell when the prices is high. People used to say speculators are we conduct. Why? Because they are purchasing in a low price and selling for the higher price. But one thing we should keep in mind, that because of the speculators only, we are maintaining the economic stability. When prices are very low, that means people are not ready to buy. That is why the price is low. So definitely there is a deterioration in the economy. So these speculators are purchasing more and they are balancing the economy. Once price is very high, people find difficult to buy that, but they are the people are inducing the sale of goods when prices rise. So the speculators are considered to be the backbone for the market. Finally, the market should have a centralized one. The decentralized market never improve the economic growth or stability. So when there is a centralized market, there will be a proper system in a market structure. With this, let me move to the next one, how the market gains importance. For that, I have to give one definition given by Bates and Perkinson. I will read the definition now, then I will explain in detail. What he said is, it is preferable to speak of a market as an area in which producer in the sense both manufacturer and distributor compete, and in which the buyer seek to satisfy their wants. See how effectively he connect all three elements, that is the manufacturer, distributor and consumer. Manufacturer is he who produce, distributor is wholesaler and retailer, and consumer is ultimate the public. So it is a place where the producer will compete in order to satisfy the consumer need. In order to make this particular concept very clear, this is considered to be, the market is considered to be a backbone of economic. Why? Because it is a place where the trade will take place. More the trade, definitely we have to produce more goods and services. When you produce more goods and services, automatically it will generate more employment opportunities. When there is a more employment opportunity in the economy, automatically the national income will be very high. Once the national income is very high, there is a possibility of economic development. When there is a economic development, there will be a economic growth. Once there is a economic growth, we can maintain the economic stability. I will put in this way: more trade, more production, then definitely more employment. Because of more employment, more income. Because of the more income, more economic development. Because of more economic development, more economic growth, and finally we can maintain the stability. That is why market is a backbone for the economy. The next question what we are able to get, whether the market is static or dynamic. Understand one thing, the consumer is not static. Once the consumer is not static, definitely the market should be dynamic only. It never be static, because the income of the consumer or taste and preference of the consumer are the competition between the consumer is keep on changing. Because of this, a market cannot be a static one. Definitely it is a dynamic one, which changes all these. That is a criteria, because there is a growing population, the birth rate is changing, there is a different market marriage rate, even divorce rate is different, and age structure of the population is keep on changing. There is a change in economic system. We are moving from one type of product to another, and we are trying to cover geographical distribution. There are n number of reasons for change in the income and taste and preference. That is why the market never be a static one, it is dynamic only. So I am concluding this particular thing. It is a interlink between household and business. Any production is based on 4 factors of production. These 4 factors of production, the important factor is a labor. The business people are purchasing labor from the household. Who are all working? The household people only working. So the business is gaining the labor from the household. In return, the household is getting things from the business. It is a capital. They are moving money to business. So there is an interlink between the household and a business. So likewise, the borrower is borrowing money from the lender, but lender is getting back the interest. So that is an interlink between these two, which involves it's only factors of production are involved. All these things where it is taking place, it is in the market. The easiest way to understand the role of market is just imagine, suppose there is no market. In the absence of market, what will happen? So each and everyone has to produce its own, our dress, our cattle, fan, all these things they have to produce. There is no market. Do you think it's possible? Definitely it is not. In the absence, we will move to the Stone Age. Because there is a market, there is a production. Because of production, we are able to generate the employment. Because of the employment, the income is generating. The national income is increased. Because of that, there is a development, growth, stability, all these things taking place. So when there is an absence of market, it's nothing but we cannot improve. Now we come to the current context. Now we are undergoing lockdown. What are all the difficulties that we have faced because the market is closed? And each and everyone is keep on trying, at least the essential products should be distributed. The milk or other basic thing. Medical stores and other one, they are allowed, even though it is a full lockdown 144. We are saying these are all needed. Suppose the market is closed, full lockdown means definitely we have to start. So in the current context, we can easily understand the importance of the market. Finally, I will explain the scope of market in macroeconomic context. For that, I am including 6 factors. Understand one thing. The very first one is a market is the interlink between the production and distribution. So the main role of market depends on how it connects the manufacturer and the ultimate consumer. The second one is market is a place where all three sectors are delivering their output. Agriculture sector, industry sector, and service sector. All the sector are busy with the market only. Suppose the market is not there, their output will not be distributed. The third main factor is the demand of the public. We are having variety of demand, different type of demand. All this demand should be satisfied through supply. How it can happen? When there is a presence of the market only. That market has extended their scope by giving different market strategy and different methods. What type of market? There are 4 type of market is there. Basic classification is perfect competition, imperfect competition. For that, there are different price strategies. Based on that competition only, we classify further into monopoly, oligopoly, monopolistic, and perfect competition, pure competition, duopoly market. All these things are competition based market. So these 6 are considered as the scope of market in macroeconomics. With this, I am completing this class. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Any doubt? All of you, please put your attendance. Someone, Surya asked, what about share market? Yes, share is a product in the share market. The share will be purchased by the public from the company. But actually, the share market should be included in the financial economics, not in macroeconomics. Macroeconomics, of course, has to include, but in our syllabus, we are not having. One day, we will discuss about the SEBI and other regulations relating with the share market.
Okay, sir.
Will you put your attendance now?
Yes.
Please. Now I am moving to a campus because I am at home only. So we will meet tomorrow. Tomorrow I am going to take the role of government in macroeconomics. Today we complete the market. With this, today I am ending the class. Okay. Tomorrow we'll meet.